The NFL draft is in the books, but we're not slowing things down here at Chat Sports as we are talking everything you need to know on this NFL offseason when it comes to rookie mini camps, OTAs, getting you all set for training camp as well. Your NFL offseason headquarters right here on NFL Daily by Chat Sports. Can we get 20 subs off today's video? If we do, we'll bring you even more content than ever before. Subscribe now for free, youtube.com/chatsportstv, and we'll get started with today's show. You're watching NFL Daily. I am Tyler Jones. Thanks for joining us. We are looking at Mel Kiper Jr.'s draft grades for all 32 teams. We will show you what Mel had and also talk about the selections and get some quotes from Mel as well and some of the teams on today's show. Let's go ahead and get started with the Arizona Cardinals, one of two teams to get an A grade from Mel, and their draft was highlighted by Marvin Harrison Jr., who they selected at 4 overall, the wide receiver from Ohio State. Also had an additional first-round pick selecting Darius Robinson, the edge rusher from Missouri. And you look at the rest of their draft, some notable players that also included Trey Benson, running back from Florida State. They picked up in the 3rd round. Also, Xavier Thomas, edge rusher from Clemson, good value in the 5th round. Here is what Mel had to say in regards to his A grade for Arizona. Yes, general manager Monty Ossenfort could have traded down from number 4 to add even more capital, but I like that he went with both the best prospect available and the team's biggest need. Marvin Harrison Jr. has everything it takes to be a future all-pro wide receiver. Darius Robinson dominated against top prospects at the Senior Bowl, which made him rise to the round 1 discussion. While he didn't always live up to his talent level at Missouri, his potential is tantalizing. Now, I want to know, how would you grade your favorite team's draft? Let me know who your favorite team is and what their grade is, whether it's an A, maybe it's a B, C, D, or F. If you're feeling great, you're feeling not so great, somewhere in between, let us know in the comments section and give us a grade for your favorite team's draft. The Philadelphia Eagles were the other team to receive an A grade from Mel, and Howie Roseman was wheeling and dealing, making a lot of noise with the Eagles selections. They started with Quinyon Mitchell, the corner from Toledo, at 22 overall, the fastest corner in this year's draft. And then they also picked up Cooper DeJean in the 2nd round, who most people had a first-round grade on. Slides to the 40th selection. They double up the corner spot and some flexibility with DeJean. He might end up playing safety or nickelback and also on special teams. Some other notables from the Philadelphia Eagles included Jeremiah Trotter, the Clemson linebacker they were able to pick up in the 5th round. Johnny Wilson, wide receiver from Florida State, they were able to pick up in the 6th round, and the Eagles get an A. Meanwhile, the Pittsburgh Steelers, they get an A- for their draft, according to Mel. The Steelers made the most of the selections they had. Troy Fautanu, the offensive tackle or guard. We'll see what the Steelers do with him. They get him at number 20 overall out of Washington. 2nd round, the Steelers get the center they were looking for, Zach Frazier from West Virginia. And then 2 very good picks in the 3rd round for Pittsburgh, which included Roman Wilson, wide receiver from Michigan, and Peyton Wilson, the linebacker from NC State. So a very good job by Omar Khan and company there. Then we go to the Washington Commanders, who also received an A-. They started off things with Jaden Daniels, the quarterback from LSU, at number 2 overall. Then we're able to grab up Jerzon Newton, Johnny Newton, the defensive tackle from Illinois, who a lot of people had a first-round grade on. They get him there in round number 2. Some other notable picks. How about Luke McCaffrey, the wide receiver from Rice, a former quarterback, the brother of Christian McCaffrey. They land him in the 3rd round. Here is what Mel had to say about the Commanders draft. I really like this class overall, and whether it goes from great to amazing could hinge on Brandon Coleman becoming a starter. Coleman was the Commanders' 3rd round pick at 67 overall. If he does and Daniels is a star, this could set the foundation for the Commanders returning to the playoffs in a couple of years. What team had the best draft? Was it one of the teams we talked about or somebody else we haven't gotten to yet? Weigh in the comment section and let us know who you think that team is. NFL rookie jerseys are on sale now, whether you want to rep Caleb Williams, maybe it's Jaden Daniels, maybe it's the pick from your favorite team or your favorite college player. We have them all on sale now for you at chatsports.com/NFL jersey. And these are going fast, so you might as well jump on it and get yours now. Check them out today, chatsports.com/NFL jersey. The link is in the comments and description of today's video. Check them out, chatsports.com/NFL jersey. Let's go to the Baltimore Ravens, Mel's hometown team. He gives a B+ to Eric DeCosta in the Baltimore Ravens as they found incredible value getting Nate Wiggins at number 30 overall, the corner from Clemson. And Eric DeCosta, the Ravens GM, said they weren't expecting him to be available there. Then the Ravens found help at the offensive line as they grabbed up Roger Rosengarten, the offensive tackle from Washington, in the second round. But how about this? One of the best value picks of the entire draft, 4th round, the Ravens get TJ Tampa, corner from Iowa State. The Houston Texans, they get a B+ from Mel, as they did not have a first-round pick, but they did do a good job with what they had. Kamari Laster, corner from Georgia, at 42 overall. Blake Fisher, offensive tackle from USC, in the second round. And how about Cade Stover? Arguably the best receiving tight end in this year's draft. They get him in the 4th round out of the Ohio State. The defending Super Bowl champion Kansas City Chiefs made some noise right away when they traded up with the Bills to go get their wide receiver, Xavier Worthy. And we add Rashee Rice to that receiving room in addition to Hollywood Brown. All of a sudden, Patrick Mahomes has the fastest receiving core in the National Football League. They get help at the offensive tackle spot in the second round. You also get a tight end, Jared Wiley from TCU, in the 4th round. Jaden Hicks, safety from Washington State, in the 4th round as well. Here is what Mel had to say on the Chiefs as they go for their 4th Super Bowl title in the Mahomes era. Xavier Worthy became a household name at the Combine because he broke the record for fastest 40-yard dash, but he has some nuance as a route runner and isn't just a deep threat. In fact, the comp I used in my big board was Hollywood Brown, who will be his new teammate. Mahomes now has 2 electrifying playmakers at his disposal. So here's what I wonder. The Chiefs last year, I thought on paper, was the worst roster of the Mahomes era, and yet they still won the Super Bowl. The Chiefs get better. Are they still the team to beat entering 2024? Wait in the comment section. Let us know what you think. Y for yes, N for no. Are the Chiefs that team or not? Let us know what you think. A new era in Los Angeles with new head coach Jim Harbaugh calling the shots. And the Chargers made the most of what they had. Joe Alt, the offensive tackle from Notre Dame, leads the draft, and he was the best offensive tackle in this draft. That leads to a B+ for Los Angeles. Ladd McConkey, they were able to get in the second round, wide receiver from Georgia. Meanwhile, the team they share a building with, the Los Angeles Rams, they also get a B+, as the Rams were able to snag up Jared Verse, edge rusher from Florida State, at 19 overall. Also, some other names include Blake Corum, running back from Michigan, in the 3rd round, and even Jordan Whittington, wide receiver from Texas. Nice haul in the 6th round, along with Bo Limmer, center from Arkansas. I know we're used to the Rams with that F them picks mentality, but they took plenty of players this year, loaded up on youth talent. Also, like a UDFA signing they had in Drake Stoops as well. A good job there by the Rams. They get a B+ from Mel. The Buffalo Bills certainly created some controversy with what they did in the 1st round, trading down not once but twice, and also letting the Kansas City Chiefs get Xavier Worthy when the Bills were looking for a receiver in their own right. Mel still gives them a B, though, as the Bills snagged up Keon Coleman at 33 overall, wide receiver from Florida State. Cole Bishop, safety from Utah, at 60th overall as well. The Chicago Bears, who had the number 1 pick in the draft, didn't have a ton of picks, but did a pretty solid job for the most part. They get a B from Mel as they opened the draft with Caleb Williams, the quarterback from USC. Rome Odunze, they got at the 9th overall selection, the wide receiver from Washington. So you get 2 franchise players with your top 10 picks. And I love what they did in the 5th round, getting Austin Booker, the edge rusher from Kansas, who was graded by many as a third-round selection, slipped all the way to them in the fifth round. I don't love drafting a punter in the fourth round. Here's what Mel had to say. Chicago didn't have the capital to fully help its offense and defense in this draft, and as a result, the other side of the ball needs some work. With Williams leading the way, though, the offense will be incredibly fun to watch in 2024. The Cincinnati Bengals get a B from Mel as they were able to snag up Amarius Mims, the offensive tackle from Georgia, in the first round. Then they went defense in round number 2 with Chris Jenkins, the defensive tackle from Michigan. The Detroit Lions, they get a B from Mel as well as they selected Terrion Arnold, the corner from Alabama, at 24 overall. They get another corner at 61, going with Enos Rakestraw Jr. from Missouri. A defensive-heavy draft for the Lions, a team that certainly needs a lot of help on that side of the ball. The Packers get a B with their draft from Mel as well, as the Packers went with Jordan Morgan, the offensive tackle from Arizona, with their first-round pick. Then they go second round, 2 picks, Edgerrin Cooper, linebacker from Texas A&M, and Javon Bullard, the safety from Georgia, with the 58th overall selection. The Colts, they get a B from Mel as well, as they were able to pick the first defensive player in this draft. You went 14 straight picks with offensive players. The Colts go with Laiatu Latu, the edge rusher from UCLA, at 15. And then how about this? Incredible value, getting A.D. Mitchell, Adonai Mitchell, the wide receiver from Texas, at 52 overall. He'll be able to stretch the field and be a nice deep threat for Anthony Richardson there on that front. The Las Vegas Raiders get a B from Mel as well, as they were able to get Brock Bowers, the tight end from Georgia. Going to be fun to see him and Matthew Mayer lining up side by side in 12 personnel at the tight end spot. They get Jackson Powers Johnson, the center from Oregon, at 44 overall, and it sounds like they're going to move him to the guard position there. The Miami Dolphins get a B from Mel as well, as they go with Chop Robinson, the edge rusher from Penn State, at 21 overall. They were certainly looking for help on that defense. Also able to snag up Patrick Paul, the offensive tackle from Houston. He'll compete for playing time to be a starter right away. The New England Patriots, they get a B from Mel. This was a very different draft than what we typically have seen in the Bill Belichick era. They get not one, but 2 quarterbacks in this year's draft, with Drake May at number 3, also Joe Milton in the 6th round. The first time that's happened since the 2012 draft that a team's taken 2 quarterbacks. And, of course, that was when the Washington football team went with RG3 and Kirk Cousins there. You also grab up Jalen Polk, wide receiver from Washington, in the 2nd round there for New England. The New Orleans Saints, they get a B from Mel, as they went with Talise Fuega, the offensive tackle from Oregon State, at 14th overall. Good value in the 2nd round, getting Kool-Aid McKinstry, the corner from Alabama, with that pick. And then it was a while before the Saints picked again, and they went with quarterback in the 5th round with Spencer Rattler out of South Carolina. You have to think that he'll go into training camp as the number 2 QB behind Derek Carr. The Giants, they get a B from Mel, as they open up the draft with Malik Neighbors, the wide receiver from LSU, which would be a great weapon for Daniel Jones to have there in New York. Then in the 2nd round at 47 overall, they get Tyler Nubin, the safety from Minnesota, as well. And I like this pick in the 4th round. Theo Johnson, tight end from Penn State. Uncertainty about Darren Waller's future, and they load up at the tight end spot. More to come here in just a moment, but want to hear from you guys. Who had the worst draft of all the teams this year? Weigh in the comment section. Let us know who you think that team is. Then we go to the New York Jets. Mel gives them a B, as they went Olu Fashanu, the offensive tackle from Penn State, at 11. Good value in the 3rd round, I think, getting Malachi Corley, the wide receiver from Western Kentucky. Also, Braylon Allen, the running back from Wisconsin, they get in the 4th round. Pairing him up with Breece Hall should be nice. And he becomes the first player in the history of the NFL draft to be born in 2004. Does that make you feel old? And then they find a potential backup quarterback in Jordan Travis, the former Florida State quarterback, in the 5th round. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers, they get a B from Mel, as they were able to grab up Graham Barton, the offensive lineman from Duke, with the 26th overall pick. We'll see exactly what they have in mind there. Also got Chris Broswell, the edge rusher from Alabama, in round 2. Now, let's go to the B-minuses of the world. We begin with the Carolina Panthers. The Panthers traded down or traded back in, rather, to the first round to the 32nd overall pick, and they get Xavier Legette, wide receiver from South Carolina. A bit of a reach there with that first-round pick. Then they go Jonathan Brooks, running back from Texas at 46 overall. Talented player, but coming off that ACL tear, we'll see what he looks like after that injury. Trevin Wallace, linebacker from Kentucky in the 3rd round, solid pick. 4th round, Jatavian Sanders, tight end from Texas. Very good tight end in his own right. We had him as the number 2 tight end on our big board. They get him in the 4th round. How about them Dallas Cowboys? The Cowboys get a B- from Mel as they were able to trade down, get some extra draft capital, and get Tyler Guyton, the offensive tackle from Oklahoma, at 29 overall. Other notable players include Marshawn Nealon, the edge rusher from Western Kentucky in the 2nd round, and Cooper Beebe, the All-American offensive guard from Kansas State in the 3rd round. Here's what Mel had to say about the boys. The Cowboys were able to trade down 5 spots in round 1, pick up an extra 3rd rounder, and still get their guy. Tyler Guyton is going to get a chance to be their starter at left tackle, and from what I see on tape, I think he can make the most and move over from the right side. He has special ability as a pass protector and can get to the 2nd level in a hurry in the run game. Another B- is the Jacksonville Jags as they pick up Brian Thomas Jr., the wide receiver from LSU, at 23 overall. Get another LSU player, this time Mason Smith, the defensive tackle, in the 2nd round as well for the Jags there. Another B- is the San Francisco 49ers, who were in an interesting position at 31. A lot of people thought they were going Cooper DeJean. They shocked everybody going with Ricky Pearsall, the wide receiver from Florida. Makes you wonder, are they going to trade Ayuk or Deebo Samuel sometime soon with the 1st-round receiver selection there? Also, 2nd round, they go Renardo Green, corner from Florida State, and they get a good offensive guard in the 3rd round, Dominic Pooney from the University of Kansas there in round 3. Staying in the NFC West, we find the Seattle Seahawks, who get a B- from Mel as well. They snagged up Byron Murphy with their 16th overall pick, the defensive tackle from Texas. We heard Mike McDonald say they want to build a wall in their defense. They found a nice foundational piece with that. Really like the 3rd-round pick from Seattle as well, Christian Haynes, offensive guard from UConn. The Seahawks needed some help when it came to the interior of the offensive line, and they got it there. C+ for the Cleveland Browns from Mel. Didn't have a 1st-round pick. 2nd round, they go Michael Hull Jr., defensive tackle from Ohio State. Zach Zinter, guard from Michigan, coming off that injury in the Rose Bowl. They used a 3rd-round pick on him. May have been a reach. We'll see how long the recovery takes from him there. Then the Denver Broncos get a C+ for their draft as they snagged up Bo Nix, quarterback from Oregon, the nation's completion percentage leader this past season. They also grabbed up his teammate Troy Franklin in the 4th round as well. Who was your favorite draft pick this year? Among all the 260-plus players selected, who was your favorite pick this year? Weigh in the comment section and let us know what you think. A couple more for you. The Minnesota Vikings get a C+ from Mel. They were able to trade up 1 spot, get J.J. McCarthy, the quarterback from Michigan, at 10 overall. They also had another 1st-round pick, used that on Dallas Turner, the edge rusher from Alabama as well. I don't like using a 6th-round pick on a kicker, and that's what they did with Will Reichard from Alabama there as well. The Tennessee Titans get a C+ from Mel. They go J.C. Latham, the offensive tackle from Alabama in the 1st round. 2nd round, a bit of a reach as they go Devondre Sweat, defensive tackle from Texas. Most people had about a 4th-round grade on him. They used a 2nd-round pick on the Texas big fella, weighing in at 360-plus pounds. The worst grade of the entire draft from Mel was a C for the Atlanta Falcons, as they shocked everybody, taking Michael Penix Jr. at 8th overall, despite paying Kirk Cousins all that money. 2nd round, they go Ruka Rojo, the defensive tackle from Clemson. And 3rd round, decent pick with Braylon Trice, the edge rusher from Washington. Here's what Mel had to say on the Falcons. Look, we can debate Michael Penix Jr.'s talent all we want, but the Falcons had a chance to improve their defense with the best prospects still on the board and didn't take it. Instead, they choose a quarterback to sit behind a guy to whom they just gave $100 million guaranteed. I just don't get the logic here. It's It's not like Penix is raw either. He turns 24 in May and has played a ton of football. It was one of the most shocking picks I can remember in round one. And Mel, we certainly agree. That was a bit of a head-scratcher there, to say the least. Subscribe now to Chat Sports for the latest happenings across the National Football League all off-season long. I'm Tyler Jones. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time.